Former Levelling Up Secretary Simon Clarke, your predecessor, criticised nurses for not budgeting their finances properly if they need to use feed banks. Gillian Keegan saying nurses only turn to food banks when a relationship or a boiler has broken down. Do you agree with your cabinet colleagues that nurses are excellent at saving lives but hopeless with their finances?
No, I would never put it that way.
Last but one question on the subject of personal finances. Another of your colleagues, Nadim Zahawi, the headlines continue to swirl about whether he did or did not mislead journalists about business dealing months before settling a multi-million-pound tax bill. He chairs your party. We need a statement from Mr Zahawi, don't we?
Well, he's paid all his taxes. That's a good thing. It's when people don't pay their taxes that it's an issue.
Yes, but he denied, without going into too much detail, he denied having an interest in Bolshoi Investments, a Gibraltar company, being a beneficiary at any point, despite you, Gov, describing it as a family trust of Nadim Zahawi. I put to you again, we need a statement to clear this all up, don't we, Mr Gove?
Well, the HMRC are the people who look at people's tax affairs. If HMRC are happy, if the money's been paid, then that's fine.
If he has indeed had to pay millions of pounds in unpaid tax to the tax man, do you think the public has a right to know?
Well, I don't want to speculate about any individual's private tax.
No, which is, I don't want to speculate either, which is why I asked you the principal question, which is, if he has, we don't know, he's not telling us, but if he has, should we have a right to know that a leading member of the cabinet has had to pay millions of pounds back in unpaid tax?
Two things. If it were the case that a politician or anyone in public life had not paid their taxes, had deliberately set out not to do so, and was still in dispute with HMRC and all the rest of it, that would be one thing. But it's not the case here. I think, in fact, I know that Nadim has paid his taxes. So someone paying their taxes isn't a story. Someone not paying their taxes is.
Tory MPs are telling the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, if you don't cut taxes in the next in the spring statement, basically you're going to lose the next election. Are they going to cut taxes? Should the government cut taxes?
Well, we want to keep taxes as low as possible.
You can't. They're the highest rate they've been in 70 years. You can't keep them as low as possible.
Well, that's partly because of the backwash from COVID and the situation in Ukraine.
No, sorry, Mr Gove. Backwash from COVID or the backwash of lockdown policies that you were an engineer of?
COVID.
It's COVID that caused us to have an economic collapse. It was COVID that caused inflation.
Yes, it was the virus. Yes.
It was the virus. It wasn't anything to do with locking down the economy.
No.
Wasn't anything to do with closing businesses, putting millions of people on furlough, not to work. Nothing to do with that at all.
Well, we only had to do that because of the virus in order to prevent it.
Not every country did that?
I think that you will find that almost every developed nation had
Sweden didn't.
Economic activity.
The constituency of Richmond in Yorkshire is receiving £19 million worth of funding. I understand it's a fairly wealthy part of the country. Might this be to do with the fact that its MP is Rishi Sunak?
No, it's nothing to do with that. It's everything to do with the fact that the money is going to Catterick, which I think is the biggest infantry base in the country, and the money is going to make sure that the neighbourhood in which service families live is invested in appropriately.
You say that, but while running for Prime Minister in the summer, a video emerged of the now Prime Minister admitting he took money from deprived areas to give it to other parts of the country. Rather flies in the face of what you've just said.
Well, the proof actually is what the Prime Minister is doing and what we're doing today. That's more than £2 billion being spent on more than 100 projects across the United Kingdom. And the areas that are benefiting, places like Blackpool and Morecambe and Cleethorpes and Wigan, these are areas which have been overlooked in the past by previous governments. But this government is absolutely committed to levelling up, to spreading opportunity and to...
What you very carefully said is... he says he's paid all his tax, as in he's now paid all of his tax. The suggestion is that he had to pay millions, not the odd £100 or £1,000 here or there, millions of pounds in unpaid back tax. And I've just asked you, are you effectively saying to the public, nothing to see here, it's all his private business, you've no right to know?
No, because, I mean, again, you're very skillful in sort of taking the essence of my answer, which you fairly understood, and then sort of presenting it as though I was trying to be, high-handed and all the rest of it. What I would prefer to say is HMRC are the tax authorities. They should scrutinise everyone's tax return and make it clear to individuals and organisations what they should pay. People should and must pay up. My firm understanding is that HMRC have no quibble with Nadeem. He's paid everything that he should, and people paying their taxes, I don't think is a story. People not paying their taxes, yeah, that is a problem.
Sweden didn't. They haven't had the same economic hit, and they haven't had the excess deaths either.
Sweden did have a lockdown. They did have restrictions.
They didn't have a lockdown. They had very, very few restrictions. They did not have lockdown.
I think they did, but anyway,
you can think. Yeah, I mean, we all have our own truths now, Meghan's style and Harry's style, but there we are. Can I ask you about strikes? Keir Starmer says...
There's never been more true than in the way in which some people rewrite history about COVID, but still, you're right.
I'm not rewriting history. I'm sticking to the facts.